to another one that is catching the globe's attention. The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has pushed for maritime security in the Gulf as he met with Saudi leaders amid rising tensions between Washington and Tehran. Pompeo met with the Saudi King Salman and the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in the Saudi port city of Jeddah before departing for the United Arab Emirates. Now, Riyadh said that the U.S. and Saudi Arabia stood together in combating terrorism and any threat at all from Iran. The top administration of the Trump government is looking to promote an anti-Iran alliance at a time of mounting tensions in the Persian Gulf. Speaking with reporters before flying out, Pompeo had said that he will be talking to the two U.S. allies to make sure that the both of them are strategically aligned with the United States as far as Iran goes. Listen in.
I'm heading out today. Our first stop will be in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, two great allies in the challenge that Iran presents, and we'll be talking with them about how to make sure that we are all strategically aligned and how we can build out a global coalition. A coalition not only throughout the Gulf states, but in Asia and in Europe that understands this challenge as it is prepared to push back against the world's largest state sponsor of terror.
But Pompeo reiterated that the U.S. was prepared to negotiate with Iran with no preconditions to ease tensions in the Persian Gulf. Those tensions between the two countries have intensified of late, especially after Iran downed a U.S. drone last Thursday. Iran had claimed that the U.S. military drone was flying within its airspace, but the U.S. had a counterclaim saying it was flying over the Strait of Hormuz in international airspace. Now, earlier, President Trump had said that he aborted military strikes on Iran in retaliation to the drone incident because he considered the action to be disproportionate. And Wion's West Asia Bureau Chief Daniele Pagani joins me live on the broadcast for more on this story. Daniele, good evening. Why do you think this outreach towards Saudi Arabia and the UAE is significant when we're looking at the larger scheme of things as they're panning out in the Persian Gulf?
Good evening to you and to all our viewers. I think that there are 2 points to which we should look at during this visit. Point number 1 is, and we heard Mike Pompeo saying that he wants to assure and wants to be sure that all allies are aligned when it comes to Iran. What does that mean? We have seen that President Donald Trump called off strikes minutes before they were actually launched. Perhaps Mike Pompeo now wants to make sure that eventually allies will be ready to bear the consequences of further military escalation. Remember that it is Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates which will be very, very close to Iran, more than the United States, despite the US has some military there. Quite a lot of military, I would say, but primarily it will be the Arab allies to be the target eventually of Iran's reaction. The second thing that he very importantly said, and it will be very interesting to follow what Mike Pompeo will talk about when he will go to India, is that he needs to put up a global coalition against Iran. What does this mean? I do not personally think this means a military coalition to fight against Iran, but rather a coalition which can protect the global oil trade and avoid any disruption when it comes to the Persian Gulf. The United States Fifth Fleet is already in Bahrain, but the military assets that the United States has is not enough to protect on their own the entire oil trade. So I think these are the 2 most important takeaways and what Mike Pompeo is talking about. And again, we will need to see if he will ask the same to India, for instance, which will be in a difficult position.
Well, that's a great point, Daniele. And I wonder, since you bring it up, that, is this posturing perhaps by the United States to show a strong, united front? It's a foregone conclusion that Saudi Arabia and the UAE are going to bat for the United States' cause. But this meeting coming before a crucial one with India.
Definitely, yes. I think that also there was pretty much the need from Washington's side to so to say, reassure also allies that President Trump walking back on eventual airstrikes against Iran was not a sign of weakness, but only, so to say, a responsible choice. And also, if Mike Pompeo can gather actual and real and solid, I would say, support when it comes to military action, I mean, from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, of course, these are cards that he can present to New Delhi. But I don't think that New Delhi will actually be dragged into a possible coalition in order to react militarily against Iran. Already India has decided to send some ship in order to protect its own vessels in the Persian Gulf, and India, remember, has no problems directly with Iran. So I think that New Delhi will balance as usual when it comes to foreign policy and decide not to be dragged by the United States to military intervention, but rather to keep his own position and protect his own vessel. Majorly, maybe it'll help to protect airlines flying above Iran's airspace.
Strategic non-alignment is, I think, what they call it. We leave it at that. Daniele Pagani in Amman, Jordan, thanks very much for bringing us that perspective. Right, staying with Asia this time, another story. Oh, wait, before we get there, another quick update on the Iran standoff. The US President Donald Trump has kept up the pressure on Tehran, saying the country cannot be allowed to have any nuclear weapons. He also said that Tehran will have to stop sponsoring terror. This comes as Iran's economy takes the toll of US sanctions. Meanwhile, Iran has denied that a cyber attack by the United States had any sort of impact. Iran's telecommunications minister said to this effect, I quote, "The media are asking about the veracity of the alleged cyber attack against Iran. No successful attack has been carried out by them, although they are making a lot of effort." End quote. Remember, the US had claimed that its military had launched a cyber attack against Iran's missile systems. This after the downing of that American drone by Iran. US officials have also said that President Trump secretly authorized the US Cyber Command to carry out that retaliatory attack on Iran. The officials added that the cyber attack had disabled Iran's computer systems, the very same ones that control its rocket and missile launchers. However, Iran contends that although there were attempts to sabotage its servers, none of them were successful. And in another update to this ongoing saga, Russia has now come out to condemn American sanctions against Iran.